Hello, welcome back. Welcome to Recovery Yoga with Lisa. Today, what we're going to do is seated and move through the 6 movements of the spine. This is one of my favorite things to do. I think that's what I love the most about yoga is it kind of helps us get into our bodies in different ways that we usually don't get into just with normal everyday movements, especially if we have a very sedentary lifestyle. So let's go ahead and I'm going to shift the camera. And I'm going to come to a seat, and you can do this in a chair. You can do this on blocks. You can do this on a bolster. I would choose a comfortable space that feels good for you. We're basically going to maintain this shape right here, whether you're sitting on a chair, sitting on blocks, a blanket, or a bolster. So what I want you to play with first is I want you to lightly bring the awareness behind the eyes. And it doesn't matter if the eyes are opened or closed. Just kind of see what feels good for you. And some of us need an object to focus upon. So bring in a red apple. I want you to bring in something neutral. And to me, it's always a red apple. If you love apples or hate the color red, use something else. But just an object in the mind's eye. Some of us need that, some of us don't. If not, just imagine you're like in the spaciousness behind the eyes. Again, eyes opened or closed. To begin with, I want you to experiment with both and see which one feels good for you. Then let the breath begin to arrive. Maybe you breathe out. And just continue breathing in that rhythm. An easy rhythm of breath. As you have the awareness behind the eyes, simultaneously draw a line from the mind's eye all the way down to the belly button, and then 2 inches below the belly button. So you're deep inside the core of the body. Have an awareness that you have muscles in the low belly in front of the spine, muscles in the low back behind the spine, and the left and right sides. And then inside that band of muscle, that 360-degree band of muscle, inside of that, there's another muscle known as the corset muscle or the transverse abdominis, the TVA. And then inside of that, there are all these little muscles that line the spine. So nothing for you to remember, just an awareness of all of that internal support. So 2 inches below the belly button, imagine you're hugging in that band of muscle in towards the spine low. Because the lower you can imagine, the more option, the more opportunity we have to activate, tone the pelvic floor. Okay. Now, as you inhale, I want you to begin to lengthen the spine out of the pelvis, sitting tall in your seat. It's kind of like you're growing out of your seat, taller and taller and taller. The sides of the body get longer and longer. And as you exhale, lightly spread the collarbones away from the sternum. None of this hurting in any way. So you're moving away from anything that doesn't feel right. You're moving towards what does. Okay. And then as you hug the shoulder blades gently towards each other, so just ever so lightly, feel the front of the body open. And then here comes kind of a weird alignment. Bring awareness to the sides of your throat and draw the sides of your throat back a little bit. It's gonna get you out of tech neck, nerd neck, that hanging over devices, texting, chilling on the couch watching Netflix, all that hunching that we do. If you gently draw the sides of the throat back, and for some of us, it's just an image, right? It's not even movement. It's just a thought, right? That creates that expansion. But it helps us align the skull lightly over the spine. And notice we're bringing everything to the back plane of the body. Let the eyes relax. Let the jaw relax. And let the wrists relax. Breathe in. And breathe out. And breathe in, the breaths get longer and longer. As you breathe out, the exhales get longer and longer. Maybe the exhales over time will linger a little longer than the inhale. And just continue breathing in that rhythm, just an easy way of breath. Now, 2 inches below the belly button, the core is engaged. I want you just to lightly begin to move through. We're going to do just little cat-cows while we're seated. So let's do a little cat energy first. So I want you to exhale, and you're going to kind of hollow out the front of the body here. You're going to tuck the tailbone a little bit and kind of close in, right, through the heart. Maybe that's an exhale. These are very light. And then as you inhale, we're going to go ahead and come back to a neutral space, back where we began, but then go ahead and extend out through the chest as you're kind of opening up and expanding. Okay. So exhale, a little bit of cat energy. And inhale, cow. And notice these are cat-cows that we typically do when we are in tabletop. Exhale. And they could be super tiny. Inhale. Okay, so let's call this movements 1 and 2. As we exhale into cat, that's movement 1. As we move into cow, movement 2. Now let's go ahead, if you want, and let's introduce a little bit of like moving around in space. So as we come forward, we're moving into a little bit of that cow energy. And as you lean back, this is a little bit of that cat energy. Okay, so we could inhale, opening the chest, and then exhale. And it doesn't have to be big, right? You could be right here. Right? You could explore the body and see how much movement, range of motion you want to bring in. Now, I want you to pause. It doesn't matter where you're at, just pause on the side somewhere. And I want you to roll back into cat pose, going the opposite direction. So it'll be exhale into cat. And if you inhaled into cat, that would be so okay. And you might inhale into cow. And exhale. And inhale. So we're still moving through the cat-cow energy, but we're kind of bringing in a little bit of range of motion. Again, it could be super, super tiny. Okay. Now I want you to notice that right here, I'm kind of isolating the hips as I'm moving the upper body. Okay. But what you could do is and I've seen this, is you could really kind of roll around, like lean the body down and lean the body back. What do you want? You got about 2 more rounds of breath. Maybe you'll switch again. Okay? So what would feel nice in your body? Moving through. Keep the core engaged. No need to go big, right? It's actually less is more. Let's go ahead and come back into the center. Maybe you've got 1 more round. I'll meet you here back in the center. So remember, we want to keep the core engaged, that 2 inches below the belly button, really nice and open heart, moving through the body, lengthening the spine towards, right, what feels good. We're never kind of yanking the body into any space. So let's go ahead and move into some side body, okay, movements. So super, super easy movements. So for right now, we're just going to go ahead and I want you to breathe in. And as you exhale, I want you to I'll be your mirror, take your right hand and you could just kind of lean it to the floor. And you could just lean to the side and you can either keep that opposite arm on your lap or just kind of crawl it up the body. And then draw the core in, keep the core engaged. We're going to go ahead and come back up to center. Pause, breathe in, the core is beautifully engaged. As you exhale, lean to your left, bring that left hand down and kind of crawl that right arm up. Only if that feels good. You could keep that right hand down at the hip. Keeping the core engaged, we'll exhale and we'll come back up. Okay, so let's go ahead and just move through a little bit. So we'll call this spinal movement number 3. You might exhale back to center, keep the core engaged. And as we lean to the other side, we inhale perhaps. And we call this spinal movement number 4. Okay. Now, if you want, you could then extend that opposite arm up. Maybe that's an inhale. And then exhale. Pause. And then you could inhale back to the other side. And then exhale back to center. If you wanted, you could reach out to the side and breathe in. And you could just do a breathe in and exhale to each, right? So we just exhale to the other side. And we inhale. Again, keep the core engaged. So don't lose that beautiful core energy, that core engagement. And then we'll go ahead and we're just going to meet right back into center. And just pause. You might kind of roll through the shoulders if you want. Okay, kind of roll through the body. Always keeping that core engaged 2 inches below the belly button. Breathing easy in and out. Okay, so that was 3 and 4. Let's go ahead and do 5 and 6, which is just easy, easy twists. Remember, less is more. Core engaged. Breathe in. As you exhale, just do a gentle twist to your right. And notice if you watch me, I'm going to kind of keep my throat kind of on top of the tailbone. As I gently twist to the right, I'm only going to go about maybe 1/3 of the way. Breathe in. And as you exhale back to center. So we're just going to start off nice and small. Breathe in here. Exhale, gently twist to your left side or your opposite side. You know, and that outside hand could come, it could shift to the back, but notice I'm only going about 1/3 of the way. Breathe in. And exhale back to center. They do not have to be big twists. And I'm kind of playing with keeping the throat kind of in line with the tailbone. Okay, we're just going to start there. So let's breathe in. As you exhale, go ahead and twist again to the right. Maybe we're going to hang out to the right a little bit. So if we hang out here, and I'm taking you could take your left hand and just kind of keep it on inside that left leg, right hand outside right hip. Look over that right shoulder slightly forward and down. Only if that feels good, take a couple breaths. You breathe in, the belly expands, and just relax the jaw, relax the eyes. Notice any places where you're carrying any tension that's not needed. Take another breath here, inhale. And you exhale back to center, keeping the core engaged. It's so easy to release the core between movements. All right, breathe in. Moving to the other side, exhale as you move, the core is engaged. Just let the hands kind of hang out wherever they want to hang out. I'm not doing anything with my hands on this side. You could look over the left shoulder slightly forward and down. Take a couple breaths here. I want you to play with keeping the heart open and the shoulders broad. Right? Avoid hunching in. So if you feel like you're kind of hunching in, I'd back out of that twist. You can keep the chest open. Less is more, right? Less creates more opportunity for us to open. So not needing to go deep. Take another breath here, inhale. And exhale back to center. Okay, let's do it again. All right, so breathe in. Exhale, twist to your right. We'll call this, right? This side of the twist is spinal movement number 5. Breathe in here. Exhale, see if you can twist all the way to the other side. We'll call this spinal movement number 6. And then you could just play with going back and forth. Inhale. And exhale. These are just some twisting that you can do. Okay. Now, you can play with that. I want you to go a couple more rounds. Maybe you've got your favorite twist. I'm going to actually lean forward a little bit. I'm going to place my hands on my thighs, and I'm going to breathe in, chest open. As I exhale, I'm going to take this left shoulder, and I'm just going to gently bring it into the center line, just a little bit in and down. I'll inhale back up with the core engaged, open, broad heart. Exhale, right shoulder comes in. And just gently pressing into that leg. And then breathe in. Just another different twist. Exhale. Sometimes this feels really good in my body. Breathe in. Returning back center. Exhale. Good. I want you to explore any twists that feel good for a couple more breaths. You'll breathe in. Everyone has their own sort of like nice way of twisting, right? And I think we get so caught up in big, right? Go big or go home, play through the pain. What if less was more? What if I just were here and I just did a little, like just an inch, and I came back to center? Breathe in. Exhale, twist an inch to the left, right? Doesn't have to be big. All right, after your last twist, coming back to center, keeping the core engaged. You could, so remember, you could roll around. So what movements? Let's just review. What were the 6 movements? For the first one, it was a kind of a cat and a cow. That was 1 and 2. 3 and 4 were the side body bends. And 5 and 6 were the gentle twists. Okay. All right, that's it for today. A nice little sequence just to kind of get you in your body, get you into your breath, and moving through the 6 movements of the spine. Mwah! Thank you so much. I'm gonna turn off the video here. I hope you have a good day.